Hey everybody, my name is Chuy and welcome back to Boss Labs. Today I'm in Queens in my apartment and I figured I'd run you through a quick tutorial on how I like to cut my footage in Premiere Pro. So a lot of the stuff that I do here on this platform on YouTube is stuff like this, where you have a talking head, someone talking on camera for your A-roll, and then you layer it with some B-roll to complement what's being said in the A-roll. And this technique works really well for a bunch of different kinds of edits, but I've noticed that it's really helped me out get a lot quicker when it comes to cutting down footage that I shot reactively. And what I mean by that is if you're out shooting an event, so whether it's event coverage or you're shooting some sort of behind the scenes footage of a photo shoot, a video shoot, any sort of BTS footage that you don't necessarily have a plan for what you need to get. You don't have a shot list, you don't have everything pre-visualized, you're just shooting reactively, so you're reacting to what's happening in the scene and getting the best kind of footage you can so that you can create an edit later on in post. So when you have this kind of footage and you shot all day, this technique's really going to help you cut down and pick out the best selects for that edit. So you're going to be able to pick and see the best footage you shot for the day really quickly. So let's get into it. We're going to jump on Premiere on the computer back there, and yeah, we'll run you through this really quick and easy tutorial using a few shortcuts and getting through your footage really quickly. Okay, so here we are in Premiere Pro. We have our timeline open and I have two sequences set up right here. I have a B-roll and a talking head one. The talking head just has the talking head part of the video and it's already been cut. So I have an empty B-roll timeline here, and that's going to be really important in a second. So what I'm trying to say here is sometimes when we edit, we go clip by clip like this and we click an in and out point. So we click an I for in and O for out and we say, hey, that's great. And you can create a sub clip here, or you can bring this down into your timeline, drag it and drop it, do whatever you want, or just, do a shortcut where you bring it into the timeline. And that's great. So the footage is ready to go. But today I kind of want to talk about how we can avoid having to take that many steps per clip. So clicking into every click, creating an in and out, and setting it aside for later. So what we're going to do there is we're going to create a timeline, which we already have here, and then we're going to get all our clips from over here. So all these clips, it's a mix between 1DX footage and C300 footage. The 1DX footage is in slow motion and it's already been slowed down. It's already been conformed to playback at 24 frames a second, and it's going to play back in slow motion. So we selected all our clips and we're really just going to move them all to the timeline. So all our clips are going to be on this timeline here, and here they are. So for this video in particular, we're not using any of the audio from the clips. We're using pretty much just the footage and only the footage. So we're going to go ahead and select all the footage, and we're going to go ahead and unlink the audio because we're going to delete all the audio from this footage. So there we go. Now all we have is a video track and we only have our video displaying here. So this is where these shortcuts are going to start coming in handy. So what we're doing with the keyboard is we're going to be using Q, W, we're going to be using the spacebar, J, L, and then we're going to be using Command K or Control K if you're on PC. So what these are doing is Q is a ripple trim previous edit to playhead, and W is ripple trim next edit to playhead. So what that basically means is if we zoom in here and we start looking at this clip, press spacebar to start looking at it. So if we stop here and say, hey, that's where I want the clip to start, we can simply click Q, and that's going to make a cut where our playhead is, and it's going to delete everything before it, and it's going to move all the clips forward to that edit point. So it's going to move to the beginning of the timeline, or if you already had a cut there, it's going to move it over to that cut. So we're going to go ahead and press Q right there. And see, now it made a cut, it moved the clips over to the side, and now the cut for this clip starts where we had our playhead. So say we're watching the footage and we're looking through it like this right now, we're just kind of seeing it in real time, and then we want to say, hey, that's where I want the clip to end. But if we look right here, I still have a bunch of the clip left over. So what I might want to do there, instead of clicking W, which will ripple cut to the next cut that's on the timeline, that means I'm going to lose all the footage that I'm not seeing right here, all this right here. So if I'm going to do it real quick. If I click W, you see it makes a cut right there and it cuts over to the next clip. But I may not want to do that. I may want to just make a cut here because I like where it's at and I want to see what the rest of the footage is. So what I do here is I simply do Command or Control K, and that just makes a cut on the clip where my playhead is at. So from there, I can just look over and look at the rest of the clip. Don't really love it, so I can fast forward using L to kind of go through the footage a little bit quicker and say that's where I want the new clip to start. Well, here I can use Q again to do the ripple cut previous, and then I'm there with the ripple trim. So it cut that middle part of the clip so that I don't have to go in there, select my blade tool or my cutting tool, make a cut, and then go back to my other tool set. It did the cut for me, and now this cut is beginning where I like it. So we'll just let that play through, and we say, hey, that's where I want it to cut. Don't really care about what's happening after that. So we go ahead and click W to ripple trim next. And there we have it. Now we're on the next clip. And we can simply be looking through our footage just by pressing spacebar for play. We can fast forward by clicking L, and you can hit it multiple times for it to go faster. We can do J to go back, to look back, and I guess they call it shuffle back and forward or shuttle back and forward. I just call it fast forward and rewind. So yeah, we can start going through this pretty quickly. So instead of using our mouse to be clicking and making cuts by selecting the cut tool and then going back to the arrow tool and moving clips like this and then having to delete the space in between clips, this is all being taken care of by these shortcuts, right? So let's go through it really quick, and I'll show you what this looks like kind of in real time when I'm working through it. And say we want the clip to start there, we do a Q, we keep watching, and say we want it to end right about there, we click W, and that's making the ripple trim before and after the clip playhead. So we kind of just go through our footage like this. We kind of just say, hey, this is where I want the footage to start. I'm watching the clip. Fast forward if you get a little bit impatient, ripple trim. So we're getting there, the shot's getting settled. We wait for it to start moving. Ripple previous, play. You can say fast forward with L. Say I like the clip where it ends right there. Now, same thing here. Just watching the footage, waiting for the usable part of the footage to get started, which would be somewhere around there. So I'm gonna delete all this before by pressing Q. And there we are, Q. Look at it, that's pretty good. I still have a lot of clip left over here, so I'm gonna do a Command K to make a cut. I'm gonna see if there's anything usable after this. And looks like I have a different movement in the same take. So I'm gonna go ahead and do Q for a ripple trim previous, and then that gets cut. So then we're looking through this, we're waiting through this, and I like where it ends there. I'm gonna go ahead and press W, and there we go. So I'm just gonna go through this footage really quickly, and I'm gonna show you maybe I'll just fast forward it. So we're gonna go and see what this workflow looks like. I have 18 minutes of footage on this timeline right now, and we're gonna cut that down to only usable footage. Okay, so we went from having 16, 17 minutes, I don't even remember anymore, of footage. We have a couple gaps, so let's just get rid of those gaps here. And let's see what we have here. So now we cut down from the 15 plus minutes of footage that we had, and now we have 5 minutes and 53 seconds of usable footage. And this has just been cut by me, so I created my own in and out points, cut and trim out the excess beginning and endings of clips, or got the best parts of longer takes that I was just redoing some stuff when I was in the studio shooting this. So now basically you have this timeline of these clips, and all of them are cut to your taste, to what you would actually use in a cut or for an edit. So now all you can do is, if you have your talking head segment like I do here, you could do a simple thing, and we could do a video talking about this, but it's very simple. And what we do is we stack two timelines. So we have the talking head timeline here. We can bring this down here, and now we have the talking head timeline at the bottom and the B-roll timeline up top. So what we do is, since we have this ready to go here, we basically just find out what we're talking about, what we need, and we just start slowly bringing down our clips from here to here. We've created sequences, and then we just start unloading on our talking head timeline, and we start populating this video with what we need to have B-roll wise, like as far as that way, it's just, we're talking, and then we cut to some of our shots,
And this is how you can really speed up your process when it comes to editing, right? You can see your shots and you start populating that really quickly. So yeah, this is basically a really quick workflow. The shortcuts again are W for ripple trim next edit to playhead, and there is Q for ripple trim previous edit to playhead, and then you have your spacebar for play, you have your J for rewind, your L for fast forward, and you have your Command or Control K to make an edit or to make a cut. And that's basically it. It's really simple, but it's gonna help speed up your process when you're editing this type of footage, and by at least 5 or 6 times. Like, it's gonna go really quick. So yeah, so that's basically it for us here today. If you like the content, make sure to give us a like. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.